When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Underway, and Barry to let us hang out here and broadcast the show while we're waiting for interviews.
Oh, I love this place. I lost a lot of money in here on Kentucky Derby Saturday, but it's a beautiful place, air conditioned. I love the vibe in here. The decor, as they say, is absolutely beautiful. But I have the first question of the day, BJ.
Yes.
Why doesn't the media every day start off their day with a hype circle? I mean, we would be so much better off if we started even if it was just like you and your dog, a hype circle for the media, because that always gets you fired up when you see that at practice.
Well, I'm not sure that we'd be standing in the right spot. So we had some rules today about certain spots we could stand.
Yes.
So apologize if the videos aren't as great as some days, but just Mike, 2 days in a row to be out there, to be at practice. Just the vibe, fall camp underway. Luckily it's been the morning, so it hasn't been too hot for us, but just your thoughts through 2 days so far.
A lot of energy. And I think that goes without saying. And it's really impressive to be out there. It is so, it's almost like an orchestra with a conductor and a whole bunch of different conductors, and everybody's running around doing everything. It seems very organized. That's what coaches do in the offseason. They put together these scripts, they put together these charts, and everything is organized. One thing I noticed today was the cemetery was so beautiful. It was a ball security drill, and every position group was scattered throughout the field, and every single one of them were doing ball position drills, but they were doing different ones. Like the offensive lineman group, they were throwing the ball on the ground and teaching you how to get into the fetal position. The defensive backs, they threw the ball at you and then they hit you with a whole bunch of pads, kind of like an interception. Running backs, everybody was doing ball security drills, and they were doing it in like 4 or 5 different ways, and they were all over the field. I was just watching, and it was kind of beautiful. So beautiful morning out there. Yesterday, a lot of hip hop music. Today, a lot of old man white music, a lot of Def Leppard and Kiss, and a lot of crazy stuff. So I think the brothers got their music choice yesterday. Today, the white kids and the country music kids got their music choice.
I was going to say, I want more of the Zach Brown band or some more of the country. Let's come on.
I think there was some Luke Combs in there. I recognize a little Luke Combs and a little Kiss and a little AC/DC. So the music is always a good time, getting people pumped up. But I know we have some business to talk about. Another beautiful day at DeChevreau Field.
By the way, 3 o'clock, the James Opens down here. Come on down. They got happy hour starting from 3 to 5:30. They got some great cocktails. Their signature drink, the James, the old-fashioned. A lot of great drinks down here. Me and Johnny have spent some time together down here. I'm sure you know how that probably ended up. But no, we're excited. And again, thanks to Barry. And come on down, check out the James. We got a cool announcement coming about potential doing a post-game show that will keep you teasing for a little while longer, but really excited about what we got going, our partnership with the James, and it's a great spot. So come on down. They got some cool excitements too about having some more food items on the menu and some sandwiches and things moving forward. But for now, opens at 3 o'clock. Come on down. Great happy hour when you get off work. And again, you won't find a better spot downtown here to get a drink than the James.
Their cocktail menu is spectacular. I guarantee you it's the most unique cocktail menu you've ever seen. Is it too early for a cocktail, BJ?
Well, I told somebody, I got to go over to the James and do my show. And they said, at 10 a.m., they're not quite open yet, but they're letting us come in here, and we appreciate them for letting us do that. And they got the patio going now with all the tables and chairs and things. This is going to be a fun spot come game day.
Yeah, I would thoroughly agree with that.
Hey, a lot of news and notes so far coming on the first couple of days. I wanted to start with George Helani, and we saw him out there today again leading the group. It just looks like he's clearly the guy that's going first and knows what he's doing and everything. And you're not seeing Keith Bonifant have to say too much to him. But there's been a lot of talk, and we're going to hear in a second kind of the plan. I wrote about it today on BroncoNationNews.com. I mean, it seems like common sense, and it makes perfect sense, and it does. I mean, you assumed they would do it, and I'm glad that they are. I think I said the lead to my story. He wasn't actually in bubble wrap. It just felt like it because they're going to be very careful with George Helani, and for good reason during fall camp.
He doesn't. I mean, he looks like 100% normal football player. He's got no braces. He's got nothing. He's just out there playing football and doing his thing. Yesterday, I was looking at the quarterback and the running back rotation, and today they mixed it up a little bit. Taylor Green was going.
Keep that over a little more if you don't mind.
There you go. Taylor Green was doing the number 1 reps, but he was doing it with Ashton Genty. Hank Bachmeier was taking the number 2 reps at quarterback, but he was doing it with George Helani. So I think they were just mixing up the rotation. But that's your power duo in the background or in the backfield for Boise State. George Helani and Hank Bachmeier have been attached at the hip ever since this thing started. So it's clearly George Helani. They're going into the season thinking he's going to be a 20 to 25 touch guy, and I don't think there's anything that's going to get in the way of that unless there's something unfortunate that happens at camp.
And it seems obvious, but the numbers do bear it out. I mean, when George Helani is healthy and plays, this is a different team. And he had 300-yard games in the final 4 games of the season. Those were the 3 games they won when he rushed for 100 yards. He had 403 yards rushed. Game. The last 6 games, they rushed for almost double that, over 150 yards per game. Now, I know the line got some stuff figured out as well, but when George Helani's out there, it's a big deal for this team.
Absolutely. And I'm getting more and more excited every single day, 2 days, to see Ashton Genty, who clearly – and I went into fall camp just based on what coaches were saying. They love Tyler Crow, and they still do love Tyler Crow. But I thought maybe Tyler Crow would work his way into RB2 just because Ashton Genty is an 18-year-old high school kid who's only been here since January. And they've always loved the trending up of Tyler Crow. Ashton Genty is clearly your number 2 running back right now, and he is so powerful and so strong. And I think if you get a steady dose of George Helani and Ashton Genty, that's going to be spectacular. I think Tyler Crow can play a really important and a really solid niche role as a backfield runner for this football team. But Genty and Helani, that's big time, if you ask me.
And so they have a plan basically where they're not going to give him much live reps at all. He might get a tackle here or there, but basically, they as you're going to hear Tim Plow say in just a second, like we know he can get tackled. We know he's good. We know he can evade tackles. They don't need him getting tackled 50 times during fall camp and risk a knee injury or risk something else. So there's going to be very limited. But they did say they want to make sure it's enough that he gets his work and he's ready to go. And you also don't want him to get into the first game where he pulls a hammy because he hasn't done enough during fall camp. So it is a balance. But they talked about that. They have a plan in place. They're going to limit George Helani. He's not going to do a lot in fall camp, and they hope that pays off come that first game against Oregon State.
Yeah, I think as many of those reps as they possibly can to Ashton Genty. So I like that combination. It makes a lot of sense, and so far that's exactly what we've seen through the first 2 days of practice.
Here's George Helani and a couple of the coaches talking about the plan to keep him 100% for that Oregon State game.
I think that the coaching staff is doing a great job just getting me in the trainer's room and keeping me on a maintenance plan and making sure I get in there early and get the body warmed up.
I think he definitely is important to this offense. I think he is one of those guys that is an ultimate playmaker, a guy that goes out there and gives his all. I think for us during camp, it is going to be important for us to manage and make sure we take care of him, keep him healthy, and make sure we don't run him into the ground. There's just, he's a veteran guy. There's some reps he doesn't need to take.
I mean, in camp, right, like, I think we all don't need to see George go in live settings, right? Like, I think we know George is pretty good. So it's more about how do we get him the touches he needs within the skeleton of practice that allows him to get in the rhythm he needs to get, just without putting the wear and tear on his body, and still build his conditioning the right way. There's a sweet spot there. We're going to be working as a full staff to make sure that's right.
I mean, I think I just have to stay humble and, continue to trust the coaches, whatever they have for me. But for me, just giving it all I got when, I get an opportunity to go out there, take those reps, whatever reps it is, I'm ready to take it.
When we're talking about adding depth to our room, understanding about getting other guys in there so we can take a couple of those hits and a couple of those carries off of George throughout the course of fall camp.
I've definitely talked to the coaches, but yeah, I think that it's important for me to continue to stay healthy, and that's definitely key for this season.
He's special. I mean, he's strong. He has really good change of direction, good vision, catches the ball well out the backfield. He has a great football mind. I mean, the sky's the limit for the kid if he can go through a healthy 12 games. I mean, and I'm not even just saying that because he's in the room. I think you watch him, you watch the course of his workload, like you said, when he is healthy, and you put on the film, this dude is a dynamic player and can change a game.
But it was tough last year. You know, you get in 6 or 7 games, and he can only go 30 snaps in a game, right? So that clock's ticking from when the game starts, when the game ends. Like, how are we going to get him his 30 snaps, you know, when he's on a pitch count like that? We got to be in situations where there's no pitch count, he can go, and we can get him the ball the 25 plus times we need to so that we can be a successful offense. You know, if he's on a pitch count, that puts us all in a spot where we got to decide when we're going to use him, when we're not, and that makes things hard.
And knowing that, you know, I need to trust the coaches and know that what my body is capable of, because I tried to come back a little early and I thought I was good to go, but then I got injured in the Nevada game. But then I had to get back on that plan. I just want to go into the season knowing that I'm healthy, ready to go, and knowing that, you know, whatever coaches need me to do, I'm ready to go.
George Holani is ready to go, and they're hopeful he's ready to go on September 3rd. And I know it kind of works out both ways, like you said. You give Crow and Genty and now Noah's brother, who we're going to talk about, Elian Noah, extra carries, but also you limit him, and it makes sense. And I think we've talked about it, Mike, a lot all off season. But if this team wants to win 10, 11 games, get to the championship, you know, last year they scored their lowest offensive production since like 1998.
Yep.
If they want this offense to get back, there's a lot of things that happen. But, you know, I had George Holani at number 2, and I had Hank Bachmeier at number 1 on our most important players list. I think you probably could go ahead and switch that. The more I've thought about it, I think this team is screwed.
Oh, I don't think there's anything doubt about that, unless all of a sudden they can capture some magic out of Genty. And I do think that possibility is there, although you certainly don't want to put your football team on the back of an 18-year-old kid. I really like the combination that they're doing, and I think it's going to be pretty special. I went back and looked at the 2019 season where Hank Bachmeier had a lot of production. We know how he was that season. Look at the wide receiver room in terms of 4 or 5 or 6 guys between 25 and 55 catches. George Holani had some catches. George Holani was productive. Boise State football needs to get back to what they were doing offensively in 2019, and it all starts with Hank Bachmeier and George Holani. Look at their stats. If they can have those kinds of stats this year, that's the exact kind of production that this offense needs.
Hey, we're in the mobile studios today, the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios at the James. Make sure to check out all the Cutwater products. Had the Long Island iced tea the other day. Love their products. Appreciate their support. Make sure to check out all their flavors, almost 30 flavors, Mike. You ever had the Cutwaters?
No.
I
see a vodka mule, though.
That piques your interest there?
Whoa. There's a Bloody Mary in there.
Yes, it's canned cocktails. You don't need to get all the mixers, all the stuff. They do it for you. And the best part, Mike, is they're like 13% alcohol. So you don't need 5 or 6 of these things. You get a couple of them and you're good to go. So appreciate their support and sponsors of our studios. A couple other great sponsors we want to thank. Boise Dentistry Co. Check them out, boisedentistryco.com. Locations across the Treasure Valley, full family dentistry. So if you're looking for a new dentist for your kids, your wife, grandma, whoever, check them out, boisedentistryco.com. United Commercial Insurance, appreciate them as well. We are a client now of United Commercial Insurance. We use them for all of our workers' comp insurance and some of the other policies for Bronco Nation News. So 44 states around the country. They're based here in the Treasure Valley. They can help you out pretty much wherever you are. So check them out, United Commercial Insurance. You will not be disappointed. And again, appreciate them. And, of course, our friends at Lithia Ford. I'm getting ready, Mike. I went in there and met with Jim Sturk the other day, getting ready to pull the trigger on a vehicle and at Lithia Ford. And so the process has been easy. Nice. It's been fun. And you can look online, lithiafordboise.com, to go find all the vehicles, and you go in there and see what you want. But I'm excited about the trucks from 2008, man. I'm trading it in, and I'm moving on to the next truck.
Nicely done.
Badly needed to move on.
Nicely done.
Some other news and notes, Mike, from practice, and I'm curious kind of your thoughts on what else stood out to you. But yesterday we get 7:30 in the morning news that Elian Noah is joining the team, the brother of Zeke Noah. pretty cool to have him around. I mean, they badly needed running back depth. I think we thought, I think it was January 27th was when he went into the transfer portal. And it was around that time also when Zeke Noah announced that he was coming back for the 6th year. And I think at that point, it made too much sense. We thought for sure it would happen. And then the bigger question was, why didn't it happen? And now it's kind of like, well, what took so long? But what we thought probably might happen does end up happening. I talked to Noah and his dad, for a story a couple of years ago, and he had wanted to come to Boise State. They didn't have a scholarship for him. He ended up committing to Utah State, and then like right before signing day, they ended up offering him, but he'd already told Utah State, and he was a loyal guy and didn't want to change his mind and went to Utah State for a couple of years. But he comes back, gets to spend his Zeke Noah's last year here at Boise State, and this is a guy that rushed for 500 plus yards in the Mountain West last year. I mean, this is a guy that's instantly becomes your most experienced back behind George Chilani. I don't know if he'll be number 2 on the depth chart, but if you get in a pinch and have to give him 10, 15, 20 carries a game, he's done that in the Mountain West. And so I think it's a cool story, but it's also a needed pickup.
Oh, an absolutely needed pickup. And it's crazy to think that you went from running back depth issues to probably not any depth issues at all by signing one kid who has just a small body of work. He's only played 2 seasons. I think that 2 plus a potential COVID year. So I think it's smart. We saw him last year. I know Boise State just beat up Utah State and Logan last year, but he had 4 carries for like 50 yards. He averaged 12 yards a pop. I think he had the 135-yard long run. So he's got a burst of speed. He's a poly kid. He's going to come in and just yes, sir, no, sir, and do what he's told. He's going to be a good locker room guy. Everybody seems to love him because of the brotherhood with his older brother. So I think it's really, really smart. I think it's a smart deal. I was curious as well. We all were. You were talking about it. I was talking about it. We talked about it on Idaho Sports Talk last January. Where's the little Noah kid? They need more running backs. I have a feeling it probably was a scholarship issue. It was a business issue. It was a negotiation issue. He obviously wanted a scholarship. Maybe Boise State didn't have a scholarship. I know in the last couple of days there's been some announcements about a couple players no longer with the team. So maybe there was some paperwork. Maybe there was some shuffling. At the last minute, a scholarship popped up. Probably a handshake deal to the Noah family. We want you. We need you. We're going to get you on scholarship, but let us figure out some paperwork. Let me play with the roster a little bit, and we can make this right. And they did it yesterday, and I think it's a brilliant addition to this running back room.
We talked to Hank Bachmeier and George Chilani about it yesterday, and we start off this little clip here with asking George Chilani, how long have you known? Because this came out at 7:30 in the morning on the first day of practice, and then there he is out at practice. We asked George Chilani, how long have you known that you were going to have a new running back, Zeke Noah's brother?
Probably 3 days ago. I was talking to Zeke. We were just chopping it up with me, Zeke, and some of the freshmen. We were just having lunch, and we were just chopping it up. And then he was just telling me that his brother is coming here, and I was like, wow, that's pretty exciting for for the running backs, and to continue to build this dependable depth that we have. No, I've definitely met him at Utah State when we played him.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to see him here as a Bronco now. So.
Yeah, that was a little curveball. I'm excited. I think it just makes that room that much better. I think it makes us that much better. So, Zeke's another guy. He's a guy next to that. He's next to me in my locker, so I see him every single day, and it's just nice to have another Noah.
I think it means a lot to him, honestly, just seeing his brother come in and just learn about this program and how our culture is. But I think it'll be exciting for him. I know Zeke is tired of tackling his brother, and how he can actually be on the same team. But I think it means a lot for him, and his family. I've definitely seen, the way he's been able to maneuver and move around. He's looking pretty solid, and I think he'll bring dependable depth to this room. Just continuing to learn the playbook. I think if we get him in there and continue to learn, I think it's going to be a scary sight for the running back room.
Scary sight for the running back room and maybe for the Mountain West. This is how new he was, Mike. I'm at practice yesterday. I'm standing there, and they're waiting to start a drill, and they're a couple feet away. There's some players there, and I literally watched John Ojukwu walk up to Ilian Noah and go, "Hey, man, I'm OJ," and met him. Like he hasn't even met all the players on the team when the first practice is starting.
That's crazy. That's how fast this sucker came together. So that's a pretty cool little story. I did notice that exchange. It was pretty fun. And, I love what Hank Bachmeier said. It's always good to have another Noah.
It is. What else, Mike? Whether it be the backup quarterback battle, there's so many other storylines we're looking at. What else in 2 days? Has anything? I mean, I know people, and we got the video we can play here while we talk about it. And, people were looking at some of the videos. This is from today's practice this morning, kind of some quarterback, running back handoffs. Exactly.
Second string running back.
Exactly. But it is crazy how people are taking that kind of stuff and going. But, from what you've heard in the last couple of days talking to the coaches, what we've seen, what's your take on, I guess we'll start with the back quarterback spot.
Well, I came into it yesterday thinking that Sam Vidlak was going to be the guy. I love his arm. I think he's got the best arm on this football team. That doesn't make him the best quarterback, so I certainly understand that. But the way the coaches were talking about him and the way he's progressed, he is the more traditional quarterback. He's not the biggest quarterback, but he's got a booming arm, and he's a really smart student of the game, and I think there's some serious passion for that. Taylor Green is, I think now after 2 days, again, Prater's acting like a fan here, flip-flopping. 2 days after that, Taylor Green is your backup quarterback right now. But I also think it's going to be situational. If Hank Bachmeier goes out at the end of a game, and they need to start a game, I think it might be Sam Vidlak. If Sam Green or Taylor Green comes in,
that's what they should just do. Sam Green, combine their two aspects, and they'd have a heck of a quarterback there.
There you go. He's clearly going to get on the field. They're clearly going to do some things for him. He's clearly going to have some packages. I cannot wait to see how they play that out. All three of these quarterbacks are very, very different. You kind of have Bachmeier in the middle, and then you got Taylor Green, the big monster freak athlete, and then you got Sam Vidlak, who's just this underachieving Mighty Mouse kind of guy. I think they're all three really, really good quarterbacks that give you a lot of variety. A lot of coaches are afraid of quarterback variety. They want the same guy. They want the same system. They want the same everything. And even Tim Plow this week said, when Hank Bachmeier is in charge of this offense, it's different than when Taylor Green's in charge of this offense. I think these coaches are putting it out there on the line and gambling a little bit with these quarterbacks, but all three of these quarterbacks are good, and that's a little bit of a nightmare for defensive coordinators to have to figure that out if indeed Boise State needs one of those other two quarterbacks.
A couple of comments here. Dayton saying the audio video is coming through good today. We appreciate that. May have jumped a couple small seconds, but hopefully it's manageable today. We worked on some stuff. Rudy saying he met Caden Dudley last night. He's built like McWeapon. I think that is going to be an interesting story, moving over from receiver, what he's going to do at running back. And we did have a question about receiver, Mike. Derek Harris wanting to know, 3rd down and long. Last season, it seemed to be throw it to Shakir and hope it works. Curious how Cobbs and Caples take over that situation. Derek, appreciate the comment. What have you noticed in the first 2 days of practice? We've seen some quick team stuff. We've seen some quarterbacks to receiver stuff, not a ton, but what stands out to you there?
Billy Bowens is explosiveness. Billy Bowens is fast. Don't forget Billy Bowens when you talk about that 3rd and long situation.
And I'm going to throw Latrell Caples in there too. I saw him today, and he is built like you say Dudley's built like McWeapon. Yep. You look at the legs and just the way that Latrell Caples is built. I think he's a guy that we saw in limited spots. Everyone's talking about Bolt and Cutter and Cobbs, but you're right. I think Bowens and Caples both are here to say, don't forget about us.
I love Bowens, and I think he's going to develop into your number 2 wide receiver. I really, truly do. And Latrell Caples, I think, has maybe the biggest upside. He's the guy that we're not talking about who has the best chance to grow and be spectacular. I'm not at all worried about the wide receiver room. As a matter of fact, we love Shaq, and when Shaq plays in the NFL, let's give him all the love that we possibly can. But when it comes to this football team, I don't think there's zero concerns about replacing Shaq. I really, truly believe that. That's not Prater talk, coach talk, speak situation. And again, I'll point back to 2019 when Hank Bachmeier, George Halani, and these guys, the production was better. The variety and diversity was better. This offense was more efficient, and I think they can be. So Hank Bachmeier not only has receiver, because they got 4 really good ones. I don't think as this season starts, we're going to talk about Shakir at all. And I think I'm pretty comfortable about that. This wide receiver room, I think, is pretty solid.
Rudy saying Bowen's issue's never been getting open. It's been inconsistent hands.
Yes.
And you mentioned Shakir. I should have cut the clip. It's available for folks who want to go. But I thought it was one of the best clips I've heard from a coach in a long time when Tim Plow said, we're not looking for the next Khalil Shakir. We're looking for the first Billy Bowens and the first Austin Bolt. I mean, it's you can't be that guy. The chances are Boise State doesn't have a top 5 round draft pick receiver on the roster. And if you do, maybe it's Cobbs, maybe it's a couple guys down the road. Who knows? But right now, you don't have the guy you had in Khalil Shakir, but that's okay. You can have other guys become their own player and step up. And I thought, we don't want a Khalil Shakir. We want the next Billy Bowens. I thought that really had some meaning to it.
Yeah, I agree. The other half of that phrase was, he's not coming back, and that's okay. And when he said that live in the team room the other day, I thought that's not what Boise State fans want to hear. But you know what? I think it's really smart, and I think it's the right approach. And I'm telling you guys right now, you don't have to always listen to me, but I really think the wide receiver room is going to be just fine. Don't worry about the loss of Shakir.
The best part, Mike, is the last 2 days is they're actually just back on the practice field. We had football to talk about. Here's the guys, just what it's like to be back on the field.
I had a lot of fun today, just being out with the guys, just competing versus the defense, operating and executing out there with the offense. We did a good job today, so it was a lot of fun just being out there.
It felt really good. First day of fall camp, just be back out there and get after it with the boys. I think that it looked really good out there as offense, especially cleaning up. After last season, it looked great as offense.
It was amazing. It's been a couple months coming, so it's just been a blessing to be able to be back on the field with the boys, and that was probably the biggest thing for me, just being around the teammates, getting back to the environment that I love being around. So it was great.
Well, Mike, again, it's exciting just to be back out there and watching practice. And, it's the start of a long grind for the players, the coaches, media, fans, everybody. It's a fun 5-month time here that I know people are excited about. So we'll, continue to watch what happens moving forward. We do have a big announcement today from Boise State, or some sort of an announcement that we're going to tease here in just a second. But I want to tell you about a couple more of our great sponsors. Hey, if you're looking for a new career, a fresh start, get into the trucking industry. It may sound crazy, but 1,000 people a day are becoming truck drivers. And TCS, a local company here, is helping folks all around the world with their accounts and things. So there's a lot of folks, famous people that are using TCS. So check them out, transcomservice.com. If you want to get the permit and all the things you need to be able to haul a big rig or one of those big trucks, you can check them out again, transcomservice.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop ridleys.com. 13 Idaho locations. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. So next time you need to head to the grocery store, please think Ridley's Family Markets. And the Blue and Orange Store, perfect time, Mike. You can go get that Nike gear, all the coaches apparel, the retro stuff. They got it all. And if you spend $40 online, you get free shipping. So free shipping over $40, any order online. If you're in Boise, you can go check them out, the Boise Town Square Mall, right there next to the Pro Image. And Mike, I saw they have the new Khalil Shakir Buffalo Bills jerseys already in. So whether you want the white or the blue, you can go get a Khalil Shakir jersey at the Blue and Orange Store there at the Boise Town Square Mall. We got a couple minutes left, Mike, and we're supposed to at 12:30 go meet with Boise State. I don't know if they're going to give us a little talk like they did before, in advance of the announcement, or if that's going to be the announcement, or what's exactly going on. But sounds like we're getting some sort of announcement from Boise State, a facilities update, as I've been told, and it sounds like they may be, announcing some either changes or a head start on some of the things they want to do to Albertson Stadium. And my understanding is it may start with the north end zone instead of the east side. So everyone's kind of talked about the east side project there. The north end zone, maybe a smaller project in itself that they can get started on to get something going. The drawings are nice and all this, Mike, but do you think it would help a Power 5 conference, so to speak, if they see a shovel in the ground? I mean, would actual, these pictures are nice, but actual plans, an actual project, and if it means starting smaller and getting something off the ground and doing something to show the Big 12 that you're doing it, do you think that would help?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be a difference maker. They're not going to decide, make decisions based on that. But if you're looking for the effort, it's kind of a domino effect. If they announce this, the fans are going to get excited. That's going to trickle up. The news is going to get out. Boise State's putting the ground in the dirt. The East Side thing that's a $20-30 million project. That's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. If they can bang out something on the north end and get the fans excited and get them fired up, create a little bit of buzz, maybe get some ticket sales going, get the fans excited about the future, and then that trickles up to the newsmakers in the Big 12. So I think it does make a difference. When they get it all done, that's going to be the big deal for Boise State. But if you can come up with an announcement now, the timing is everything. And if you can make an announcement before the season starts, that makes all the sense in the world to me.
And everyone's probably thinking north end zone. Don't you mean south end zone? The south end zone is the one that everybody thought would have the bigger kind of project. It's getting the new scoreboard, big picture wise. You could tear down the varsity center. You're going to have the whole big thing. But as I said, it sounds like the easier project, something maybe to get started, might be the north end zone. So look for them to, you could potentially bowl in the lower level. You could maybe do some some field level type suites. I mean, there's a lot you can do down there. They're already putting in the bigger video board at the north end zone. So it would seem if you had a small amount of cash and you were trying to figure out in the next 2 to 3 years, what could you do to do something to show people that you're doing it? And as you said, then people see what that looks like and they get excited about a smaller project in the north end zone actually makes some sense.
Let's go back 10 to 15, maybe even 20 years when Boise State constantly had something going on, whether it was the indoor, the Blameyer, the stickle, the curves. You know, for 25 years, Boise State's had something going on in terms of building. They need to do that now. We saw that the north end zone scoreboard, the structure, they're already building that. They're supposed to debut that for the home opener. And you can see the construction guys over there working. Constantly have something going on for like the next 3 to 5 and 8 years, whether it's a big project, a small project, a scoreboard, bowling in the north end zone, or coming back with the entire east side renovation. So at this point, I think Boise State needs to be a construction zone. We don't like construction zones around here, BJ. A lot of orange cones on Boise State's campus. Keep it going for at least the next 5 years, every single day.
Well, we'll see what the official announcement is. Don't know exactly what it's going to be. Just caught wind that there was something coming today, and they did tell us to come at 12:30, potentially to speak with Jeremiah Dickey or Cody Gogler or Mike Walsh. Not sure who it will be with. So stay tuned. They'll have full coverage coming up 3 o'clock in Idaho Sports Talk. You and Bob today, right? So you'll have we got Dimitri Washington today. We got Zeke Noah. Who else we talking? JL Skinner, the big one today too. So we'll have player sound on their show. They'll have whatever this announcement is coming up 3 o'clock on Idaho Sports Talk. Prater, Bob, and JP. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning. Jay Tust will join me 9 a.m. and we'll have some of that video as well. We'll have some more reactions, some footage from practice today, maybe some video of Jeremiah Dickey talking about whatever this project is. So a lot going on and kind of interesting too. They started 2 days earlier as we wrap this up this year, so there's more off days. But I can't remember a time where you go 3 days in a row basically with no in this early in fall camp. There's no media and no practice for us for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Now I'm not complaining to have the weekend a little lighter, but I think they knew you were going out of town, Mike, so I wanted to help you out here. But I
do appreciate that.
We will have interviews today and then nothing Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll be back at it with 5 out of the 6 days on Monday or 4 out of 5 or something next week coming up. So kind of easing into fall camp here. The team is off tomorrow, and then they'll practice over the weekend before media and everybody in interviews kick back up on Monday. So listen to them today at 3 o'clock. Come down to the James at 3:30, and you can listen to them in the car while you're heading down here. I guess they open at 3. You open at 3, right? It's perfect timing.
There you go.
And you can have a drink here and have that old fashioned. They have their happy hour from 3 until 5:30 here at the James. So we appreciate them for letting us broadcast. Mike, thanks for coming down, doing this in person. Hope audio, video, everything was okay for folks. And we hope you have a great day. Again, they'll have you covered today, 3 o'clock with all the latest news. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.
At ICCU, to make a difference, it takes just one connection. A friendly face, an open ear, a helping hand. And then something amazing happens. We find out that we're better together. This is what Idaho Central does in our communities every day. We help our members with the small things and big dreams. This is what believing in you is all about. Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Ooh, the gym. Old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, Fly Fishing Guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah. Try it sometime.